Hey everybody, and welcome to Behind the Score. We do another day of the 30 teams in 30 days. Today we're going to be talking about Cleveland. As I said in the last podcast, I have changed up the order that I'm doing this, adding more information and giving more in depth to the decisions that I made. So we'll get right into it. Looking at the 2021 lineup in my predictions, first off, we'll have Ahmed Rosario. He's the shortstop, batting right, 301 for average and a 353 on base percentage. This guy knows how to get on base. This guy knows how to hit, and you'll see that trend going forward of me putting guys like that at the top of the lineup. Big thing for me is get on base, get runs often and early, and because once you get a lead, people get more confident. It gets rid of those jitters, and you put together a whole lot better baseball game. Bobby Bradley will be next, playing first, the left-hander, batting 284 and 314 on base percentage for his career. And this is another guy, bats great for average, kind of on the lower end of the team when it comes to on base percentage. But this guy does know how to hit, and I've, as you'll notice going through these, I've also put left-handed batters and right-handed batters, trying to mix them up, as it's a better thing to do pitching wise, especially for reliever pitchers later on in the game. It's good to throw some lefties in there so you're not getting a lot of innings with straight right-handed hitters. It allows you versatility, but it also puts pressure on the other team with reliever pitchers, because they either have to face three batters or they have to finish an inning. So to put a little bit of pressure on those pitchers, it's good to throw in some left-handers, and it puts a little ruffle in the strategy for the other team. Next we have Cesar Hernandez. Next batting third we have Jose Ramirez. Sorry about that. He plays third, switch hitter, batting 276 and on base at 326. This guy knows how to get on base. He has a lot of power. One of the big stars alongside Lindor in Cleveland the last few seasons. Definitely a dynamic duo there. As we know, Lindor moved over to the Mets. So it's a little bit weaker on that side, but I don't think they will have much trouble there. But yeah, he definitely is great being a switch hitter in that spot. It throws kind of a crink in there, so that's why I put him there. Next would be Fran Mel Reyes. I have him down as the DH, batting 324 and on base at 371. This guy is high on getting on base, hits for average, a guy that's going to bring in runs, and definitely is the guy that I see having a lot of power as well. So that's why I put him into that spot. Fifth would be Eddie Rosario, left fielder, batting left, 280 average with 294 on base. His on base is a little bit lower, but he's definitely hitting near the top of the team when it comes to average. So he's definitely a great guy to put behind those heavy hitters to get another rally going heading into the bottom of the order. You want a guy that can get on base, move bases, hit for average, even get extra base hits You can get a couple sacrifice flies at the end of the order, which would bring that player in. So it's great in those 5 and 6 spots to have somebody that's get on base, and even if they can get extra base hits. Oscar Mercado is batting 6th, center fielder, batting right, 279 for average, 333 on base. His average is a little bit lower than Eddie, but his on base percentage is great, 333, a third of the time getting on base. It's like I said, the 5th and 6th guys, these are guys you want to get on base again, get guys moved around, possible extra base hits to bring in some runs at the bottom of the order. So he slots in there very well. Josh Naylor, left-hander, 242 to 289. As you notice, the average is starting to dip now. But with that said, he has 289 on base, which isn't great, but it isn't horrible either. And another left-handed batter, so that throws another guy in there just to break up the right-handers. Cesar Hernandez batting 8th. Like I said, second switch hitter, 255, and on base at 324. His average is on the low end for sure, but another guy with 324 on base, he can get on base about a third of the time. Another switch hitter, so it's I think he slots very well there in the 8th spot. And Robert Perez, he is the catcher, batting right, hitting 267 with a 366 on base. Again, with the catcher, put him at the bottom of the order. Could have moved him up a little bit, but having some strength at the bottom of the order isn't bad either. As some people know with the Blue Jays, if Biggio can't be near the top of the order, sometimes you'll find him at the bottom. Most people say, well, why do you have him at the bottom? He doesn't get as many bats down there. Well, it's one of those things that he's a great guy for getting on base and a guy that can turn that order up and give it back to the guys at the top of the order. So sometimes when you don't have the spots at the top of the order, sometimes it's great to put them at the bottom. That way they can turn the lineup over and you can keep it going. You don't have many lulls in the lineup. Going into the pitching rotation, starting it off was an amazing guy that had an amazing year last year, Shane Bieber. Next will be Aaron Savale. Pitching third would be Zach Plezak. Number 4 will be Tristan Mckenzie. Tristan Mckenzie I had on my fantasy pool last year. He's the guy that did very well while he was in there. Did struggle on and off, but this is a young guy that I definitely see having some even more potential and probably even a better season this year. Logan Allen in 5th. And in spot starts, I put in a 6th spot, which would be Scott Moss. I think with this being a young team, and most chances would be that they won't make the playoffs. But so it'd be great to have that 6th spot to kind of look at the young guys and try filling out the spots for this team to have solid players going forward. So that'll definitely work out for having an extra roster spot to look at the young guys. Other storylines with this team, as everybody knows, they're changing the name. They've dropped the Indians part. Right now, it's from stuff that I've heard from people that are Cleveland fans. A lot of people are liking the Cleveland Spiders. Apparently, it was the name used by a team in the Negro League back in the day. So I think Cleveland Spiders definitely has a cool ring to it and also has that history as well. So they haven't formally announced anything. I'm guessing that these will probably come the day before they open their season or on opening season day. But it'll be really cool to see what they decide to go with there. Well balanced lefty and righty batting. Like I said, this is a great lineup, especially in the American League, as we know, with Yankee Stadium in Fenway. There, they got the short fields. So when it comes to lefty batters, so that'll definitely work there. But yeah, we have three lefties to four righties, and then two switch hitters. So this is a lineup people can move around based on pitching matchups, and could definitely put a challenge on the pitching staff of the opposing team. Will be challenged by the Twins very close. I do have Cleveland coming in second. But I do think Cleveland and Minnesota, they've kind of lost some key players this offseason. So I definitely see that being a battleground. I do see them both finishing behind the White Sox, but I think Cleveland and Minnesota, that'll be a rivalry and a fight to watch this year to see who gets the upper hand there. But right now, I'm taking Cleveland based on the lineup and the players playing. Can starting rotation be better than expected? I think it will. I think Beaver will have another great season this year. We had Plesak and Mckenzie pitching some last year. So I definitely do see this team taking another step forward in their pitching staff. And if they can build on what they did even last year, it'll definitely put them in a great spot moving forward. Like I said, there's a lot of young guys that are up and coming here, and I think it'll make a big impact on this team going forward. Questions on Jose Ramirez and Cesar Hernandez. Cesar Hernandez, I had in my fantasy pool. He was kind of up and down, really average there. I needed a second baseman though when I had an injury, so I threw him in there. I definitely think this is a guy that would be working hard to prove himself. He's come back to the team as a free agent. But yeah, definitely a guy to watch to see if he can rise to the potential and grow his game. And for Jose Ramirez, this guy is going to have another great season. He's definitely a star player, especially when it comes to Cleveland. Will he get dealt out of there? I'm not so sure when it comes to that. With Lindor leaving, it definitely has the makings of a rebuild. Will it be a full teardown? I'm not sure there. I guess we'll see this season based on people's performances. But I definitely don't see Jose Ramirez going anywhere this season. Players to watch for this team would be Nolan Jones, third base, number one in the organization. Tyler Freeman, a shortstop. He'd be an interesting thing to watch, especially with Lindor moving on there. See whether he gets his shot at moving into the organization. Number two, Tristan Mckenzie, the right-hander pitcher, number 3 on the prospect list. As I said, he did have some game times there before. Definitely looked great from what I could see. You could tell he was definitely a young guy in there, but I definitely see his game growing. Bo Naylor, the catcher, number 4. and George Valera, the outfielder, number 5. So as I now close this out, I'd like to say again that getting those stats and different information coming to you, get from MLB.com. You hit the menu button top left, drop down, you can go to any of the teams, and then if you hit that button again, you can go down to rosters and different stuff within the organization. I got looking at the depth chart and the prospect list, and that's where I also got my averages from based on the players. You click on the player's name there, and it'll bring up their stats and different things on their career. So thank you for MLB.com for their information and stats there in their website to help me with this, making this podcast even better. They are not a sponsor though. I don't have any sponsors for this podcast as of yet, but definitely if you're looking for great information, that would definitely be a great place to get it. So anyways, as I close this out, I'd like to thank you again for watching. Hope you enjoy the new format. There's a lot coming. This isn't just going to be baseball, but other sports as well. But seeing baseball is about to get started, I thought that would be a great place to start. So anyways, just remember, it's not always what happens in the game. There's a lot that's behind the score. Thank you very much and have a great day.